Good morning. Good morning. We're just going to check real quick. Make sure we are on Facebook Live. Yes, we are. We are on our group page, the Healers Roundtable page on Facebook. So it's not all the way, anyone can see it. You have to be on the group page. Okay, so got that. Let me just do this real quick. Lower down my volume. Okay. So we will be providing the Zoom link if you are watching through Facebook Live. We will be providing the Zoom link if you wish to join us via Zoom. So good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. I just want to go ahead and get started. A quick recap and a quick introduction. So my name is Rebecca and my husband,
JB Atkins.
both of us together, we form Dual Dragons. We are holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whisperers. We treat the body very differently. We're under the umbrella realm of massage therapy, but we use so many other modalities besides massage. We both have taken the advanced neuromuscular technique course, which we treat the body very differently. It's not your spa-like kind of massage. You know, we do not undress our clients. We do all the work over their clothing. We just ask them to come in sports wear, whether it be jogging pants, whether it be yoga pants, shorts, and a t-shirt, or girls like a little spaghetti strap shirt, just to be able to do somewhat of a sun lotion, maybe on the feet, calves, shoulders, but mainly all the work is done with that neuromuscular technique, plus our other modalities, which is either energy clearing, chakra aligning, bar lines. Sometimes we use cupping, sometimes we use our Tibetan bowls for the session. Anything that your body is requesting us to provide to give you the results you need for that, for whatever you're experiencing that day, whether it be chronic pain, whether it be pain coming on through any physical trauma, emotional trauma, environmental trauma, chemical trauma. Chemical meaning, like for example, my sister, this all started 2 years ago. We started doing this together when my sister was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and she had to go through aggressive chemo. And because of what we did, we were able to shorten her time. They had diagnosed her maybe possibly having chemotherapy for a year. She did it in 4 months and since then has been cancer free. So that's just a little bit of our success story. And there's been many other success stories after her because of what we formulated together as Dual Dragons. And so with that, the reason why Healers Roundtable came about, obviously COVID came and it kind of like stopped everyone on their tracks from our busy lifestyles, from hustling and grinding to coming to a halt, and almost like our lives kind of like also coming to a halt. All our goals, plans, whatever we had in mind for the following years has kind of like been in a very eerie, like Twilight Zone state. You just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow anymore. So with that, I've been doing a lot of meditation, and my spiritual guides that I tune in with on a daily basis came to me and said, it's time for you to start the Healers Roundtable. And the vision I got was like the Knights of the Round Table, that they would all come together and do a plan to protect the kingdom. I saw all of us healers, facilitated healers, anyone who's in the healing realm, come together where we're formulating a plan on helping others how to transition and shift during this time. So I formulated with their guidance and with whatever they told me to do, I formulated 3 workshops. It started back in October. So in October, we did the 7-day chakra cleanse for healers, and that helped us to ground. We should grounded with our chakras. And then in November, we did the 7-day course on how to connect with your spiritual guides through meditation. And that one connected us with our higher source. And now for this month of December, we did the 7-day course on your spiritual connection within yourself and how that ripples out to your spouse, children, family, friends, community. If you haven't had a chance to see all of these, you could see them all on our Facebook page, the Healers Roundtable. I will be providing that link. If you've come on through Meetup, it's in the Meetup group link. It's in the comments below if you want to join in through the Facebook. So you could get a chance and an opportunity to see all those 3 courses at your time when you can, and just really get the benefit out of those 3. And so with that, today is day 7. And for day 7, it's spiritual connections with your friends and community. And community means anyone outside of your 4 walls of your home. So it could be extended family, it could be your friends, community like neighbors, whoever is part of your life at the moment. So we're going to talk about that. Day 1 through 3, it was about yourself. We did the emotional, mentally, and physical aspects of yourself from day 1 to 3. Day 4, 5, and 6, we did again the mental, the emotional, and physical aspects with your partner, your spouse, and children, whoever's within your household. And now today, we're just going to tie it all up with friends and community. And our guest speaker for today is Teresa Ramirez Petroni, and she is the owner of the Rooted Holistic Body Work. She does body and energy work as a therapist. She's also a Reiki master practitioner, holistic health and anatomy nerd, CMT, HHP, and there you see her website, her way to contact her, her number, and also her Instagram. You can reach her through Instagram at RH Bodywork. So if anything resonates with you today of Teresa, she's located in the San Diego County. And so if anything resonates, or if you want to reach out to her, she's a person to really get in contact with besides ourselves. And there's also other healers that we've been networking with. You know, like I always say, we are all made for different kinds of healing. Maybe you need to get healing from me, from JB, or Teresa. Whatever calls you is what you need to go to. I'm not the kind of person that says, oh no, you should only see me. I I've gone through that experience in my lifetime where at 19 I had a near death experience. And after that, my health was really bad. And I needed help from many people to get where I'm at right now. I needed to see a holistic doctor, an acupuncturist, a massage therapist, you name it. I had a group of people. So I'm the first one to tell you, it may not be me. You might need other people to get you to your healing journey and to get you where you need to be so you could have your lifestyle back, your health back. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so I could have Teresa come on, and I'm going to pass the mic to her.
Okay. Am I in the driver's seat? Okay. Hola, buenos días. Good morning, everyone. So fun to have started the summit and be ending the summit with you all. I know when Rebecca reached out, like, hey, we need day 1 too. Can you come on board? And I said yes. So it was just very divine and how this worked out. It's kind of perfect too. If you were able to tune into day 1, we talked about the psychology of consciousness, thought form structure, and in there, let's see, speaker view, please. Oh shoot, I'm messing up, JB. Let's see. Speaker view. How do I do that? Speaker view. Share. No, cancel. Sorry, guys. Technical because I'm still not amazing on This guy. So let's see. Share screen.
Usually in the top corner, there's a view section where you could change from gallery to speaker.
Oh, okay. Whoopsies. I'm like sharing my full screen now. Doing good, guys. Sorry. Let me see here. Come back. Oh, this is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Let's see. Is this okay, JP? And I can just like speak from the presentation slideshow? Yes.
That works.
That works. Okay. Sorry, guys. Anywho, what I wanted to say is I'm glad to have started with the concept of triggers. I kind of took a different approach to spiritual connections within community and friendship, just with everything that's happened this year and where healers, facilitators of healers, like where we kind of fall into the mix of the general energy that's being shared on a community level. So some of the things I cover in this presentation can be triggering. That's okay. So that's where I really encourage you to go back to that day one, really identify that trigger cycle and really rest in with the trigger work and just really be able to comfortably and confidently identify like, okay, yes, this is my trigger, and just to identify where you're at in the trigger cycle. But it's a really good presentation, so don't worry. Anywho, hello, Teresa Ramirez Petroni. Nice to meet you all again. Let's go and dive in. So my biggest thing was to start, I was like, okay, how do I want to start this? I definitely took some time to start this and figure that out. Let's see, I don't know if I'm doing this right, guys. Okay, so please, as a healing human that holds healing space, put on your oxygen mask first, please. Just like they show us when we're on an airplane ride. I know that's been a long time since many of us have been on an airplane, but just put your oxygen mask on first, right? Before you put on the one next to you. It's the same concept with everything we're living through this year. So I use the word radical a lot. So fun fact about me, I have an older brother who's 10 years older than me. So I grew up, my first love of music was punk rock. So I have a very punk rock approach to healing, holistic healing spaces, wellness, you name it. So radical self-care as a sacred practice and ritual. So the communal vibration and shared energy this year, as we know, has been dense. It's been heavy, it's been a lot. So as empathic intuitive healers, we really have to amp up and take care of our mind, body, soul connections to keep up with our work. So like Rebecca and JB described, their beautiful succession of the different summits they've done this year, we have amazing tools to dive into and the community. So I would really love to really speak to the concept of tracking your energy. I think, I know, we've been colonized to think that we have to be Monday through Friday, productive on this day, which let's just throw that out. 2020 gave us the gift of really diving into what it means to decolonize our minds, right? So consider working with a lunar or menstrual, if you have one, cycle for energies and planning out your work days and week. For me personally, I like working on Saturdays. I have a lot of energy on Saturdays. I'm more of a Sunday, Monday person. On Mondays, I'm more moody. Sometimes I feel like working, sometimes I don't. So I've really gotten into a better place of planning my schedule around of Sunday, Mondays are mostly my days off. So tracking your energy through the week and really identifying patterns and cycles. Maybe keep like a basic log of what was your energy for the day before you go to bed at night. And maybe after a couple of months, you start to see like, wow, I'm like pretty low energy on Mondays. And that's one of my days I do massage all day. Maybe I can gift myself that day off and do my work other days. So really that personal, intuitive, energetic planning for aligned action during the month. Again, just that concept of rest is sacred. I'm really grateful for 2020, giving that to this huge community of healers. We're allowed to rest. We're not made to hustle harder. Like, I'm just so glad this grind culture is dying out because I'm just done with it. So again, decolonizing your mind from toxic productivity. This is something I've been working on and I'm still working on. I was raised, you give it 110%, you work your ass off at all times. That was the narrative my mother lived with and taught us. That's a colonized concept. We've really been colonized to think that we have to be productive 100% of the time to be worthy of, insert the motion here, worthy of payment, worthy of receiving work, receiving clients. Like, again, insert the emotion there, but rest is really sacred. So really coming back to this concept of, does this support the energy I'm calling in today? So come back home to your energy throughout the day and see what your soul, body needs of you and do that. Again, I'm using these concepts within a communal community element because if you're in this community, I'm sure you can raise your hand to being an empath. And to be an empath this year, I went through a really rough bout of depression over the summer, this vibration that and understandably so, like hold space for that. It's okay and understandable that the communal energy right now is scared, is fear, is anger, frustration, rage, grief, like insert all of these emotions here. But like we talked about with the energy vibration scale on Monday, when you allow your energy and your highest self to sit in that and marinate in that for too long, we start to come down. And then here we have this amazing work we need to do, but because we've allowed ourselves to get lost in the void of the communal energy with your community, we're now so low of vibration that boom, we are now depressed, we're now anxious, and it's keeping us from doing that work we were put on this earth to do. So just a little bit of why I'm diving in. Again, I took a more unique approach to our spiritual connection with the community. So please, please, please put your oxygen mask on first. Self-care is radical. It doesn't want to do that. That's fun. Let's see. Am I frozen? No. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. So communal self-care is crucial. If I don't know where you are located, California just went on lockdown again. So with COVID-19 resurgence, communal spaces are filled with fear, anxiety, frustration, judgment. I literally looked at my husband about 2 weeks ago. I looked at him, and when we got into the car after the grocery store, I had to put my hand over my heart. I said, "Oh my God, the vibration is coming back. Like you can just feel it walking into the store. People are cutting you off. People are looking at you. It's tough. It's a tough time. So to keep our vibrations high, we really have to practice energetic hygiene, especially cord cutting. Again, as empaths, we can get cords just like someone bumps into you and you look at them and go, "Excuse me," boom, a cord can be formed, right? So really that concept of cord cutting, calling in whoever you call in, whether that's a spirit guide, whether that's your ancestors, your lineage, archangels. I know Archangel, I believe Raphael, I'm newer with archangels. I think he has the swords to cut those cords. So really that concept of energetic hygiene before you enter a communal space, during, do you maybe keep a crystal on you? Maybe you have your essential oil rollers that you can be like secretly smelling during a hangout. I don't know what it is, but really amp up whatever tools you need. And again, after leaving that social space. So again, this is the community of healers. You know what your self-care is. You know what holistic tools you vibe with. Take them with you. They're not just meant to be living on your altar at home. Like I personally have a really cool travel pack of essential oil rollers. Fun fact, we'll put like crystals in my sports bra, like whenever I'm treating, or if I'm just like, man, the energy's feeling dense here today. So I keep crystals in my car, like whatever mist, I have a really yummy Palo Santo mist I love. Whatever you need to boost up your self-care when going into community spaces, right now is the time to do it. So really, again, feeling into what feels most supportive for your well-being and set your boundaries accordingly. So with that talk, let's dive into boundaries. Again, this is where it can get a little triggering. So to the left, you'll see the holistic psychologist is really big on boundary setting. She has a great YouTube channel if you want more resources. So she speaks to the 5 boundaries here: emotional, mental, time and energy. Hi, body workers. We struggle with those boundaries all the time. Material and physical. So one of the biggest things I want to impart on setting boundaries, be prepared for pushback. I'm not saying manifest that, I'm not saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to be really hard. I know it." No, I'm not encouraging that type of dialogue, but just that matter of like, okay, I'm creating a container to communicate boundaries with my mom, my dad, my partner, my friend. Just allow the space to be, you might get pushback, and you probably will, because I want us to really understand when we're setting boundaries to the left, any of those with our friends, family, community, we're setting them after we've been playing a very specific role for them that can come with many emotions for both parties. So like for me, when I started to become spiritually conscious and awake, I was met with lots of pushback from my family, because I realized once I took a step back and I understood my trigger cycle, my triggers with my family, I understood the role I played for them, which was I was just the community punching bag for them. Like they knew they could come to me and they could just say whatever they want, do whatever they want. So as I started to set these boundaries, they got pretty mad at that, So just understanding that there's going to be discomfort, but again, we're made to do hard things. Just ride the wave of the discomfort. It's not always going to be that way. So again, in a year where nothing is normal, allow no or I'm not available to be safe words and phrases that you use. You are allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, I'm not available and not attach the word, I'm sorry. I think as body workers, we're like, again, empaths, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No, if you're not available, that's not something you have to apologize about. If you're having a tough day because the communal energy was just really tough, or you turned on the news and the news just depressed you, like whatever's happening in your day, and someone reaches out for a healing session, a friend is like, oh man, I'm having a really tough day. Can I talk to you? So I'm not available. Look, I just did it. Sorry. No. So just really feeling comfortable to use those phrases, no, and I'm not available, without attaching the word sorry on there. As Latino and a Latino woman, like this is culpa. Like we're very ingrained to say sorry. Next one. So connecting with your friends. Again, come back to these 5 boundaries. So we're often, as healers, as facilitators of healers, as conscious humans, we usually become that person for our family and friends to turn to. So again, with these spiritual connections to our friends comes energetic cords. Maybe you showed up to a friend's house and you're thinking we're going to have a nice dinner, and it turns into a therapy session for a couple of hours, and you leave and you've just taken all of their energy. You've just created that cord with their situation. So really creating a clear container of time to be available as a soundboard for our friends. So again, that's that concept of energetic tracking. Maybe you know your higher energy on Tuesday through Thursday, and you know you have that one, because we all have that friend that's drama. It is what it is. That's their soul contract they're figuring out and they're living. But maybe you know this drama friend, like every Wednesday, like clockwork, something's happening. So maybe when you know that, you can tell them, hey, you know what? I'm actually available from you for this time to this time. That's a time and energy boundary, right? So communicate your needs in a hangout or connection with a friend. Let them know, hey, you know, I've had a hell of a week. We just went into lockdown again. I really want to come and connect with you, but I just really need to veg out. I just really need a safe space just to relax and be myself. Maybe you need to social distance. Maybe you're not comfortable hanging out with them because maybe that friend's not into mask wearing and that's their journey. Maybe, you know, I really want to hang out with you. How do you feel about going and walking by the beach so that way we can be socially distant? You do you. Seriously, you do you. Check in on your people. I've had to create a calendar reminder for myself because communication and following up on text messages and phone calls has been challenging for me this year. I always prided myself on being the friend that, oh yeah, I always return calls and I'm always available. I've been wildly unavailable this year, you know, and luckily my friends love and know me and know that that's not my usual and that I'm going through something. So what I've done is I've created calendar reminders throughout the month of, okay, I have these people I know I need to check in on. I have a girlfriend who lives by herself in New York. They've been locked down for a long time. So I create that. And another girlfriend I have here in San Diego, we're just both very busy. We now are like, okay, no ifs, ands, or buts. We're going to socially distance and we schedule our hangout once a month. We get 2 hours in with each other and everything else is just a bonus. So this is the not so fun one. Are we enabling our friends? This is never a fun check-in, but it's crucial once again. And this is that concept of boundaries. We don't want to slip into old patterns of how we show up for those friends and that enabling behavior. So just again, always practice that self-kindness and just know you're doing the best job you can do. All right, this is where we might get a little triggering. When I sat down to make the presentation, I had hesitation on talking about this, but I think as conscious humans in this Healers Roundtable, it is up to us to have these more uncomfortable conversations. I am extremely grateful to the ways 2020 has really shattered these veils that we've had over our eyes and is really putting a big spotlight on a lot of the toxic ways the spiritual wellness community has been showing up in the social media sphere. So with that being said, please just say no to toxic positivity and spiritual bypassing. So what is spiritual bypassing? It is to spiritually bypass is to use spirituality to avoid, suppress, or escape from uncomfortable issues in life. I've been there. I have been there. Oh, no, I'm just going to hang out with the crystal. You know, no, I'll be fine. It's good. I'm not feeling bad. I don't want to bring my vibe down. No. I'm not going to give in to that. Or maybe we see someone posting some stuff on social media. Oh, wow, their vibe is really bad right now. You know, oh, I can't even, no, I need to let them know. They need to know what's going on. And we start to comment. I'm sure we've seen this many times. So the Black, Indigenous, person of color communities, LGBTQI plus communities experience this at the hands of spiritual and wellness spaces on a regular basis. Toxic positivity, this is the assumption either by oneself or others that despite a person's emotional pain or difficult situations, they should just have a positive mindset. So that's where I'm very excited about 2020, death of positive good vibes only, hashtag good vibes only. There is no such thing as good vibes only. You know, we covered this in the day one that we spoke to, as within, so without, as above, so below, yin yang, light, dark. There is no such thing as good vibrations only. We have to be able to be comfortable to sit in our shadow and not be afraid of shadow work. If you are a light worker, you are a shadow worker. So if you are in the presence of any of these narratives, please practice your 5 boundaries. It's really, really important as conscious humans in this 2020 new paradigm moving forward that we hold the space and call this BS out when we see it and not be perpetuating these old paradigm ways of being within the spiritual community. So more talk on that. So within the community element, you know, when you're building community on social media, again, 2020 new paradigm, right? These veils were shattered with George Floyd's death and murder. Creation of inclusive and safe spaces. It is time to DEI the crap out of your life, not DIY, do it yourself, DEI, diversity, education, inclusion. So again, I've been speaking to the shattering of the veils that have been over many non-POC, non-person of color, eyes in the United States, and there is still mega tense, sensitive energy around it, and that's okay. I am half Mexican, half white. I get to hang out in this yin yang every day within my own skin. There was a lot of discomfort that came for me in June when I had POC, BIPOC, a woman of color, calling us out, calling me out. I used to say positive vibes. It's okay. It's okay if that's things you were saying, narratives you were carrying. We are now in the new paradigm, and it's okay if you're uncomfortable. Again, that's that shadow work that we have to be doing. So again, as conscious humans, we find ourselves living that new paradigm where it is every spiritual wellness, healing. I don't care who you are. If you are a facilitator of healing, it is our job to do the anti-racist work and ensure all spaces are inclusive, accessible, and safe. I have seen too many times this year the blackout square, or muting my voice, and then fast forward to October and November, I'll be on a random post and I'll see like, it's not really sensitive to, and I'll insert the community here, and I'll see that, oh, they took off commenting. That's not creating an inclusive and accessible safe space. So no matter how big or small the community is, making it clear on how you facilitate safe and inclusive communal spaces is paramount in any healing work to be done with the collective. So I put a lot of awesome resources on these things because, again, we didn't know better. Now we know better. Now it's time to do better. So these are some really awesome people I've been hanging out with throughout this year as I really dove into this work. The VP Wright is an amazing resource on DEI education and incorporating inclusive pricing and business models within your structure. Rachel Ricketts, she's definitely a punk rock. Some of her stuff will make you uncomfortable, but she's a spiritual activist. Rachel Carlisle is The Great Unlearning, really amazing resources on decolonizing your mind. Ibram X. Kendi is the author of How to Be an Anti-Racist. Like, if you're going to pick any book to start your work, please start with that. Decolonizing Therapy, she's a BIWOC therapist and really an activist on decolonizing mindset work. I am Natalie Bright. She's actually my mentor, Conscious Business. She has an amazing, affordable conscious business school that she leads. You can access at any time. And According to Weeze, another anti-racist educator and coach. So these are just a couple of things I really, when I sat down and I put my hand over my heart, I was afraid to do it, but I knew I was in a safe space to call these things out. Because again, it's up to us to carry the torch of this new paradigm that we're leading. So I'm doing a full circle moment here. Thoughts create beliefs. Beliefs create feelings. Feelings create behavior. It's really important that we understand this cycle of how thoughts form, because the thought leads to the behavior. So if we have an old paradigm thought that's dictating the way we're doing our work in the community, we need to go back. And to go back is to sit with our shadow and to understand our triggers. So really getting a grip on your triggers and understanding the cycle is going to really, really help you practice setting these 5 boundaries and doing your anti-racist work. So again, please practice self-kindness. we're conscious human beings doing the best job we can do. Messy action is always better than no action. Radical self-care is sacred. Be punk rock in your life with your self-care. We cannot show up in the community. We cannot show up for our friends. We cannot show up for any of these spiritual connections unless we are radical in our self-care. And this is the year that showed us we're allowed to be. You're allowed to feel all of your feelings. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to change your mind on hanging out. You're allowed to say I'm not available without apologizing. Like, be punk rock in your life. You have full permission. I give you your permission pass. So again, my name is Teresa Ramirez Petroni. This has been such a joy to come in and connect with this community on the first and the last day. This is all of my information. It also can be found in the the Facebook platform. And I would love to connect and give you access to these slideshows I did on day 1 and day 2, if that sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. Back to you, JB and Rebecca.
Thank you, thank you. No, I really appreciate how you started day 1 and you brought in those triggers and how we're ending it with the triggers that are going on now, because they are happening, like you said, it's every day I'm going in Facebook and just seeing, for example, I have a friend, very well-educated friend, very emotional, high EQ, just putting a question out there like, hey guys, this doesn't make sense. The numbers don't make sense. I don't understand the lockdown, like what's going on. And so quickly she was getting backlash of like, you're irresponsible, you're this. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
she just asked a question, guys. It's like,
Yeah.
you really need to, like what you say, what's the trigger? Why are we reacting this way? And just kind of take a deeper look within ourselves, like why are we being triggered in this way? What is going on within ourselves? And instead of like putting it out there, taking that deep dive within yourself and just really, looking within and saying, why am I saying these things? Or why am I doing this? And like you said, everyone was posting that little black box. I had no idea what was going on. I don't have TV. I kind of keep to myself. I'm very I'm just like in my home privately. I don't have access to TV. If I want to watch a show that someone tells me, oh, you should watch this show, it's so funny, then I'll look for it on the internet. But I don't
Yeah.
have access to TV. And so I had no knowledge of what was going on. And so I happened to make a comment because I was just inquiring. And it was quickly, I got told, oh, let me educate you. And I was like,
Everyone's an educator this year. Yeah.
and I was like, and when the tone that came across, I was like, I apologize. I'm like, this was not meant to trigger you. I was sincerely just curious because I really had no idea what was going on. And thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it and sending you love and blessings,
Yeah.
But I had to cut that cord right away. Like you said, right away, you have to cut that cord because you're bringing all this home.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate what you brought up. Let me just step away for a minute because my daughter needs me. Do you have anything?
Yes, I'm going to mute the group. So for those who have any questions to ask our wonderful speaker or ourselves, you're free to join the conversation.
Please do.
Do you have anything, Victor or Bada?
No, just enjoyed the presentation very much. Always open to learning and meeting other light workers and learning from them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I could just continue the conversation. I know of Ho'oponopono as a cutting core technique. I've done the visualization of the waterfall, helping to kind of cleanse. What are some of your other tools that you came across, Teresa, so that our audience may be aware that might be more aligned with them in those type of techniques?
Yeah, great question. So I just finished up my Reiki Mastery studies this year. It could have not been a more perfect time with everything going on this year to have that focus of just coming back to myself and my energy using Reiki. So my Reiki Masters I studied under gave a really cool visualization of create like a cast, just like we break our arm as a kiddo, we get a cast on it. It helps to heal, right? They're pretty sensitive with cord cutting. They're very like ethical, do no harm, like it's not our job necessarily to cut a cord for someone, but we can discuss and facilitate that process. So they really helped us with this concept of maybe we're not going to cut that cord because, hi, it's our first session and that's not our job to do that just yet. Maybe we can have that discussion, but we can create like a cast. So I love this concept of creating a cast over a cord when you feel it or see it. So that way it's casted, it's not pulling your energy anymore, it's not growing roots into you, but it's still there. And you can gently, as you do your own work, your soul work, your shadow work, you can kind of look at the cast and it's getting smaller and smaller, and ultimately it kind of just falls away. So I really loved that concept of energetic casting of cords. So that way it's like a do no harm for clients. Yes. Oh, it looked like you had a question. Sorry, JB. And then as far as just like when I get out of any community space, because it's just been like really, really dense, as you all know, just to go into any communal space this year, I instantly do like an energetic cleanse, I'll get my hands kind of, and I'll just kind of do that. Sometimes if I feel it was really dense, I do a lot of energetic brushing just to kind of brush off as well. And then of course, energetic cleansing showers for sure. So anytime I do kind of like that waterfall technique you just spoke to, I use that within anytime I'm bathing. I just imagine it's just washing off any cords that were formed in the last, 24 to 30 hours, they are gone. And I do see a hand raised. Sorry, it's Blessy.
Yes.
Hi, how
Hi.
are you?
Good.
Yes, I just wanted to comment. You know what? I really like the fact that you mentioned that it's okay to talk about our shadows, because yeah, I was in a group. I don't know, like a month ago, and I was having a very tough day, and I just wanted to comment about I was feeling very very tired because I had done a lot of work at the job, at my job. I was very very exhausted,
Mhm.
and I was just sharing this with a group, and I thought this group was like a very intimate group. They were my friends, but then the leader immediately said, "Oh, we have to stay positive. We don't allow negativity here." But I wasn't being negative. I just wanted to express how I was feeling at the time, because I just wanted some compassion and some understanding, some support. So yeah, I'm very happy that you mentioned that it's okay to express our negative emotions too. Not just always focus on positive, because we all have negative and positive. Of course, we want to get out of that negativity as soon as possible. We don't want to stay dwelling on the negativity, but it is okay to express, sometimes how we feel. Like sometimes when we feel so bad, it's okay to express that, and it's okay for people to be a little bit compassionate and patient.
I love that. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. Is it Blessy? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for raising your hand. Sorry, I'm still new at Zoom. And thank you for sharing that. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I think it's why I really felt called to put that slide in there. What you experienced is toxic positivity. It's this concept of, oh, no, we can't talk about the low vibe stuff. We can't, oh, no, because we need to keep our vibe up here. But what she did in turn, what you just described, she created a harmful experience for you, and she's the community moderator for that community space. So truly, I see you, I witness you, and I honor you. Thank you so much for speaking to that. And just know, again, radical self-care. Radical self-care. You have full permission in that moment. Like, wow, that was a really harmful experience I just experienced in your community. I'm going to go ahead and log off now. Thank you. And you sign off. Like, you do you, girl. Like, just say no, I'm not available. If you need to radically exit a situation, because now you're becoming conscious to these narratives and how they look. Toxic positivity, you're being spiritually bypassed. Oh, no, that's a low vibration. Girl, we keep it high vibes only here. Like, that's toxic and that's not okay. And I'm so glad to have you here. And you're fully empowered. Anytime you are in the presence of that, you put your hand up and say, you know what, as within, so without, as above, so below. I think you have some shadow work to do. I'm going to go ahead and exit now and exit.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to that group, but I just
for
like
you.
I like the way you were expressing this, like, and what did you say? Positive toxicity? Is that what you call it?
So it's called toxic positivity, and it's
Oh.
definitely been defined before, but I really feel like 2020, just with this concept of spiritual and cultural appropriation, appropriation of white wellness within the communities, non-POC, these terms are finally being brought to the forth because melanated voices are being amplified, and they get to speak to what spiritual bypassing and toxic positivity looks like.
I really like the way you think. That's wonderful to hear. Somebody like you give us permission to be a little bit negative sometimes, because it is important to express ourselves.
And just know it's not negative, girlfriend. It's not negative. It's your shadow. If we're going to be in the light and do this light work, like we have those low energy days, and it's understanding and using that energetic tracking, Blessy. Like maybe you find, wow, I've been tracking my energy for the last 2 months and I am like really tired on Mondays. Cool. I'm gifting myself that day off. I don't need to be doing juicy energy body work, we really have to listen to our energy. And I think 2020 gifted us that. Again, we've been colonized to think we have to be productive all the time. If we're not productive, we're not worthy. And that's no longer the narrative, girl.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, you really touched on something there. I actually had a client yesterday, privately share, I see this client every week, and it was just amazing. Within a week, all of a sudden there was this tension, and I was like, what happened? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so it was, she shared a vulnerable story where I guess she had years previously, someone was stalking her and restraining order, and this person just happened to pop out of the woodwork again. So her having to, it's COVID time now, there's no real help. It's like they're looking at her like, you want us to do what for you? We're busy with the lockdown. We don't have time for you. And just her feeling very vulnerable. And so at that moment, like you said, you don't want to be like, oh, you're fine. Don't do this to your body. It's like, okay, listen to your body. And I explained to her how her left side is her feminine side. And that was the most dense area. Your body's protecting. This is your feminine energy protecting. So yes, it's going to feel much more denser. You put on layers of protection here. That's good. That's good. And when you are ready, start taking off a few layers so it just doesn't feel so dense. And then the right side, your masculine side, is your doer. So this just feels naturally tense. There's no layers of protection here, because you need to be able to move. So yes, you have normal tension here. It is tense. But again, when you are ready to start doing that self-care, just take your time when you are ready. I go, because these are natural responses of your body for what you're going through.
You completely validated her experience.
Yeah, and it was so funny because at the end of the session we were laughing because I said, I give you permission to take an edible, and she was all like cracking up.
Hey.
All like, what should I do to relax? I'm all like, this work. I have never taken an edible in my life until my sister, with ovarian cancer. And I was going through the stress. My sister was going through the nausea and not being able to eat. And someone has suggested, why don't you guys do an edible?
Love it.
Oh my God, that was we only had like, my sister and I shared a brownie for the longest time. It was big.
Just a little.
Little cubes, and I only had 2 little cubes, and that was more than enough for me.
Yeah.
And it was like the best experience. So we were laughing because she goes, okay, if you say so, I'll take an edible. I'm like, yes, I give you permission.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of times our clients need that. Even, just what Blessy shared, like we need that. We need that as healers. Like oh, I have permission to not treat this client and to refer them out. Oh, I have permission to not just say yes to every massage time that my clients need. Like, we have to give ourselves permission. And that's, again, like, it's been such a duality this year, you know? For me, I mean, when the lockdown happened, I remember being in tears in my husband's arms, like, they're taking away my favorite thing, my thing that lights my heart on fire. But then within that week, I felt relief because I was so burnt out. I was so exhausted. My everything was aching because I was working my spa job. I was running my business. I was saying yes to everything. So yeah, permission pass to be this year, you know?
Yeah. And
Definitely want to share. There's something you said that kind of helped me click. I've been sharing for the last year as I was going through this journey, recognizing my ego being my traumatic former self through this, lifetime of what I've developed or past life, and just something you made sense. For those who resonate with this, consider your ego the black within you, the dark, the shadow. Your higher self being the light, and one cannot live without the other. So if you truly seek balance, other than your guides, your masculine and feminine guides to help you balance that, consider your ego and your higher self to find your yin and yang balance, your alpha omega, whichever duality you put verbiage the value to. And this, right before getting on, I got a little tripped up because I was going to put into practice something we've learned through this week about engaging our stepdaughter with a question, and obviously an apology for kind of bumping into her. And then my wife cut me off before I could engage and do what I was just implemented. So of course it set off my ego, my pain, my hurt. So I just went off, let me just get breakfast. Let me focus on me and my satisfaction to heal my body and just kind of be in the moment. So I was just, okay. I see my ego kind of just standing there, just kicking back. Okay, what we're gonna do, like before it was just like this mischief, how to revenge, how to get back. And it's like, no, what we're gonna do, well, I love you for being there and not really bringing all that trauma. Yeah, let's just enjoy this meal. Let's just balance ourselves to be prepared for the people that are gonna receive this wonderful message today, this guidance. For me holds true now, recognizing my ego and my higher self are my yin and yang, as well as my guides for my masculine and feminine energy to maintain balance. And to me, that's almost like my version of the 4 elements that helps me be JB Atkins. And then of course,
that share.
Yes, so thank you. Just the way you were to finally make things click. I was like, I've known all these pieces of truth, and most of us have. As healers, we have all these nuggets of truth from another book, an audio, a song, a different webinar, a class, a conversation, someone that we don't like, but they came up and they said something, damn it, I don't like you. But what you said, oh, it was a message from my guardian or my higher self or my ego that I wasn't listened to at that moment. So they had to find a way around for us to get the message for us. Okay, time to recalibrate ourselves for us.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And that's where I'm like, again, so grateful for all the ways, like just BS is being called out in the spiritual community. This concept of ego death, ego death. No, there is no death. There's transmutation. There's alchemy, being the alchemist within your ego. But I love that. It's that concept of understanding we need our ego. Now, does the ego need to be in the driver's seat? Like you said, no. So I love that moment of the ego kind of sitting back. That's so awesome. I love it. Juicy. Good stuff. Is there anyone on Facebook that has any questions? I know my presentation was a little shorter today. Wasn't unpacking mega gnarly psychology concepts today.
No, it was perfect. Someone, Patty, she wrote right on. Yes, give all the energies, positive, negative, a voice. Thank you. So that was Patty. And that's so far what's been on. But yeah, definitely these courses, have brought on so much out there. Like I said, I had the course in October for the chakras. And, we had a lot of discussions on each chakra and what does it mean and how does it affect us? And then how to ground again, the grounding. And then when we did in November, you know, about how to connect with your spirit guides. Also, again, the deep conversation of how to be clear, how to communicate clearly your intentions. What is it that you're seeking? What is it that you want? You know, we've been, like you said, we've been told, oh, you can't have that, or, oh no, this is, you know, it's too much. You know, you don't deserve.
Mhm.
And there was one thing there was an exercise I did just recently I was talking to a client and when I was at my work job, and it was funny because she's a client of mine and she's been watching all these courses through my Facebook and she just loves it. She goes, you have given me a way to perceive things so differently than before. And I'm like, I'm glad. She goes, I know I'm getting so she signed up for a course on journaling and how to reconnect with herself. And so she was telling me about all these guilty feelings and these feelings of shame coming up and trying to understand where it came from, why. And it was really good. And I said, you know, you want me to add a little nugget there for you? And she goes, yes. I told her, imagine the way we think of money. You know, a lot of us have this negative connection with money.
Oof, don't even get me started. I know.
And, and it's funny because money is a form of energy.
Yes, it is.
It's a form, and a lot of people don't see it that way. You know, just back in the days, we used to do trading, you know, of livestock just to be able to provide for our families, the farms, and so I told her, I want you to journal this exercise. When you say, oh, I don't deserve that much, or this is too much money, I don't need all this money. I'm gonna change the word money with love and repeat that statement you just said to yourself. Oh, I don't deserve this love. Oh, that's too much love for me right now. Is
I
that
love
true?
that.
And she goes, no, not at all. And I go, why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we say those statements? We do deserve more. We do deserve all of this, you know, each and one of us. And just by saying that statement at the end of my shift, I only had 3 clients that day. And in a massage, when you work for a massage place, tips are not really like that big, you know. You know that. We
Yep.
all know that as therapy workers, that sometimes
Energy in, energy out. Yep. Detached from tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But just having that talk with her, my first client ended up tipping me 25, my second client 60, and my last client 50. I walked home that day with $135 in my pocket just by talking about energy and money. And so that was my affirmation from my spirit guides, like, yes, something you need to talk about more. Here's the proof of it, you know. And it's like easily I could have walked home with nothing because
Okay. Next summit, I'm calling it Money Mindset, please, because it's something I'm
yes,
working on.
yeah, and actually I'm working on that. That's what I'm working on. That's for
I will
the
be an attendee. Thank you.
yeah, so definitely. And there's more and more coming out. Oh, and Bear has a question. I just saw that. Go ahead and unmute. There she goes.
Oh, thanks, Rebecca. Thanks a bunch, Teresa. Yeah, you said a lot of good stuff, and I think it's so important to remember that our feelings are valid and take care of ourselves. One question I'm interested in your guys's opinion or like tips that you guys have for like techniques. You talked about some, but like something I found lately is it's not even from like going to the grocery store or anything, but a lot of things have been happening to me, like synchronicities, I guess, where like I'm thinking about something and then I come into the Healers Roundtable yesterday and they start talking about that same thing. And then I get so excited and then I'm like, oh, I need to like, whatever I was going to do, like, that's it. I'm going on this, like on a series website. But like, this keeps happening to me where like someone brings up a book. I'm like, that book sounds like exactly what I need, but I'm like reading 3 books, you know, cause I keep doing this
Yes.
kind of thing. And I have this like buzzing energy that's like, but it's too much. And it's like, I'm taking on too much. And I think like some of the questions from yesterday were super helpful, like saying like, not mine. And I added like, not now. Some of this stuff might be mine eventually, but like, I can't do all this at once. It's a little bit helpful, but this buzzing, like it keeps coming back and will like wake me up in the night where I'm like, oh, I need to be like writing a blog on this and like sharing, like, yeah.
Yep. Are you familiar with human design by chance?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure that I know what you're talking about.
Cool. It's like newer as far, I mean, it's always been there, but I feel like it's gaining traction and popularity. I feel like you and I resonate with each other. I think you're a manifesting generator. So it's this concept within human design. So imagine there's astrology umbrella and then human design comes off of that. So human design is the concept that we were born a certain way. So within a certain profile of human design. So manifesting generators are exactly what you just described. Like we get epic downloads from our spirit or just our spiritual support team. Girl, I'm 3 a.m. Like this entire year, I'll have 3 a.m. wake up calls and I have to wake up and do stuff. And my husband's like, what is wrong with you? You're not sleeping again. And it's the same thing, girl. It's like, do this, do that. So now I've just created like brain dumps in like my notes on my phone. So I can be like, okay, you guys, fine. I put it in there. And then I'm like, okay, no more downloads. I need to sleep, please. But yeah, I think maybe exploring into human design and seeing what your profile is. So that way you can just really learn how to work with that energy more. Cause it can be almost debilitating. I feel you. Where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, but then you get all these downloads and you have all, again, like you said, buzzing. It's a perfect word. Like you're almost on a high from this energy of what you need to do. And then you get kind of lost in the sauce and a bit overwhelmed as far as like, what project do I choose first? What direction do I go? So yeah, if you want, I'll DM you in the chat right now and I'll share some pretty cool human design people I like to hang out with on Instagram.
That'd be awesome. Thanks. And I kind of like laughed when you were talking because I literally just like in the 30 minutes before this, like made a list. I was like, okay, stop buying all these books. Like, here's a list of the things like that I want to do. So because it feels more peaceful, I think, for me to like, not that I can't stop something that I'm doing. Like I might find, okay, this doesn't serve me anymore. Not right now, but like,
yeah,
to just, to get something done.
Yeah.
I feel you. I am queen of buying the book. So I put a rule, like a hard rule for myself because I'm also working on budgeting. Something that I know is hard as a healer because we just want all the new things and all the new courses. I'm not buying any new books until I have worked through like all of the books that I have. Like it'll go on my to check out list at some point, but I feel you. It's really hard. There's so much great, and that's what's so inspiring about this year. There's so many voices that are being amplified that there's all this cool stuff coming out. And what I've been really coming back home to for myself is, have I given myself time for integration? I am such a student of life, forever student. If someone wanted to pay for me to go get my PhD tomorrow, I would. Like I am just, I'm such a book nerd. I love it. But all of this hunger for, okay, more knowledge, have we taken the time to integrate? Have we mastered our signature surface, right? Our signature whatever, like for me, I love Reiki massage. So I'm really diving into that and mastering that, but I think it's real. And this is a form of capitalism. Damn it. Capitalism is sneaky. It goes into every little nook and cranny of any community. And unfortunately, there is spiritual wellness, health and wellness, holistic capitalism. Oh, are you feeling this? You need this crystal. You need this program. You need this seminar, right? It's tough, Social media is designed to get us to buy, to engage, to be a part of this little mechanism that's been created. So just hold space for yourself, just know you're on the right path. And again, I really intuitively, it keeps coming to me. My guys are like, yes, human design for you. So I will definitely be sending you some resources just
Awesome.
So that way you can honor this buzzing, awesome, just again, think of that word, manifesting generator. You're probably amazing at manifesting. You have a constant generation of ideas. But again, as manifesting generators, we get lost in the sauce because it's like we're almost too many ideas. So yeah, thank you for coming on and speaking. I feel you. Kindred souls.
Yeah, so we are at the 11 o'clock. We're going to be
Yeah.
stopping Facebook Live soon, but I just wanted to leave with this note, like, what I love about my group is like everyone that has joined in, joined in, not because they got a message from me like, you need this. It was, they saw my post, something told them to join, and they joined. And that's what I feel very blessed that I have the honor to have you all here, because you came because you got that call. Something told you to log on and listen to that. That's what I really want everyone to listen to. From, if you want to take something from this, listen to that gut instinct, to listen to that little inner voice. You know, that will help you in so many ways. It's helped me in so many ways throughout my lifetime, and given me the best experiences and teachings and lessons throughout life, just for taking that time to listen to that voice and say, you know what, now it's time for you to stop. Oh, now it's time for you to do this. And so, like Vera, just to, answer your question too, yes, believe me, I get downloads of, oh, you're going to do this now. And then the first thing I say, okay, if I'm going to do this, give it to me in steps, because I want to do it right. I want to be able to do this 100%. And if it's meant to come out, it will come out the way it needs to come out. And literally, I will just take like daily, I would sit down, I'll be like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to sit down. So if you guys want to do some downloads, this is the time. So I actually organize with them like when I'm available.
My Reiki master just turned me on to that, Rebecca. She's like, you need to give office hours to your guides. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, because they used to do that. They used to wake me up at 3 a.m. too. And I'm like, I know this is the time for you guys to party, but this is not my party time.
Right?
You
Are
guys-
you on East Coast time? Like, what's happening? I'm Pacific. Thank you. I need to sleep. So
Yeah.
good.
So with that, like I just want to say, you guys are in control of your ship, and let your inner gut guide you always, and if anything, just be guided by yourself. You are your number one. You provide your oxygen. You know what you need to do. Okay. And have that trust within yourself. So with that, we're going to get off Facebook Live, my love. Go ahead.
Thank you all for joining us. And if you haven't already, make sure to go back and check the other units and just join us. Reach out to us personally. We'll be happy to help you and guide you to the healer or practitioner that best potentially will serve you on your journey. My name is JB Atkins.
Rebecca Arce.
And we're Dual Dragons. Remember to stay healthy and breathe intentionally. Till next time.